Bank of America, for example, that you may use, get an email from a source that you believe is tied to you. It can generally be from a source that people use a lot, for example, the Bank of America. So, you know, if you clicked on the email and they said, perhaps, you know, do you want more information about our rewards program? Click, you know, and it says click here, and you click on it, you have to make sure that that's coming from a legitimate source, because it may be just somebody phishing you, you know?
Yeah.
And all the logos and everything are within that email may look legitimate, but you may be clicking on something that says the Bank of America, and the actual email for the official Bank of America may be just Bank of America. So you have to really be careful before you click on anything.
Yes, so please don't open those things, especially, I know when I moved to America, I did. They used to be like telling you, congratulations, you just won a trip to the Caribbean, and I'm like, oh my God. I remember I was all the way in Florida, and I clicked, and I ended up in some things that were asking me for money, and yeah.
It's in a hand turn and anything. So.
No, I never ever went. It was, of course you get, actually there was a thing, but it was costing $1,000 to get those things, they told you they were free. So it's very weird. But, this next group was doing, your checking account balance is low, and you have a bill to pay, and what are your options? Anyone knows some things?
Yeah, you are talking about credit card and debit card.
Yes,
Okay.
let's say you have a banking system that sometimes protects you from overdraft and things like that, so you just come up with a plan, what do you do at that point?
I pay from my credit, and I can like just define my, put a plan to pay, you know, bank planning, to pay my, you know, like payment plan.
Okay.
Pay all my bills, but if I have a credit, I'm gonna use my credit.
Okay.
Because, you know, some bills is not waiting for me. And some bills, even that bill is like rent, I have to pay it. But if it like utility, I can do the plan,
Yeah.
payment plan.
We don't have the evicted here. So those are kind of the options, and again, our amazing team members will capture all the options we have when we have not money and we still have to pay bills. Bill, oh yes, and these wonderful team members here did too. Go ahead. Yeah, they have the same question as well. What did you guys do?
Okay, you wanna go ahead?
You can talk.
Alright, so we said just pretty much the same thing, to use a credit card, and then later on you complete with your debit card.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much similar.
Ooh, this credit card seems to be like a life savior. Okay, great job, guys.
Yes, something.
We also do, we also talked about asset security, how assets are secure, financial assets.
So Ron and Umi, they talked about also having something in your house that you can sell to make money, which actually is really brilliant. And yeah, so instead of using credit, you can find something that you'd like to sell, maybe on Facebook Market, or put it on your social medias and stuff.
Or even investing.
Oh,
So you get to the point where you have to sell some of your stocks, why not?
Oh, wow. They have a lot of options here. Yay, now you know some stocks. If you have stocks, why not? I like this group. I'll take your advice. Okay, and then the next group was going to do, you are very new to the US and you want to start building a credit, and now what? What do you do?
كلتم دارتين شو ولا نقول؟ كلتم
Okay, go
دارت كل
ahead.
ولا نقول؟
Oh, our group?
Your group. Whoever is speaking can go ahead.
دارت تقول ولا نقول؟
Amshi.
Nidal, you wanna go?
Okay. So the first things are pay your rent on time, and you pay your bills on time. And also, if you have a bank account, you can go to your bank, ask them to open. I forget exactly the names of that credit. Yeah, security card, and then that money they take it from you, so limited. So my experience, I start with 300, and I pay monthly after. So I can pay minimum payment and due date, or I can pay it off. So we use it for 6 months, and after that, I think we built a good credit. And then when we back again, we asking to get a loan to buy a house. So we get directly. So doesn't get a long time. So yeah.
Okay, great job. Also, if you have a loan, you have to pay on time, and you will pay your utilities, and you can make a credit too to make a good credit.
Okay, you guys are doing great. I think they're talking about how you start getting ready to buy homes, do whatever you need. You know, America is all about building credit, good credit. Okay, and the next question was about a fraud. Sorry, you have noticed a charge in your banking statements that you did not make. What steps do you take?
Sorry, I raised my hand. I was gonna add something on my own experience.
Yeah.
When I get to America, what I did, my uncle added me on his credit card to build my own credit. So it's like you can add a user if you have like a good credit. So he added me and they opened his user account. And then they gave me a low credit limit that I could be able to use and pay back the money. And then that was really, he helped me to build my credit. And you have to do that with the person that you have trust in it. So there are some family that do that. They will allow you to add the user if you trust each other, and then it will help you build your credit score.
That's actually yeah. You have to trust the person too, right? Because you're not adding anybody.
So were you underage or when did
Family or child, mom, dad. Yeah.
I was not underage. I was already 20 years ago. 20 years
But
old.
she built her credit so fast, when she had someone who had a credit already built.
I think that goes though with the trust, and then I think also the trust. And I was also gonna say, it reminds me of also how people say, I don't have credit, can you co-sign for me? And you feel like guilty, and then you say yes, and then they might mess up your credit. So I think the trust piece has to be very strong. Great job, thank you, Dorcas. And then you can answer your question.
Yeah, we spoke about it, and then we came to a conclusion, like if you see a charge that you do not recognize, first you can call your bank. For all of us, we do have like some application that you can check your purchases. So we talk about Credit Karma. You can report through Credit Karma, or you can report to your bank, or you can call the bank. So we decided it's good to have like application from your finances. So sometimes you might see that, and then the bank is closed, so you don't have time to go to the bank, or it will be late, or any other inconvenience. So we decided that you can have an application where you can report that type of charge, and then make sure you dispute it, and the money will be back to your account.
Awesome. Okay, so disputing, having an application, we'll cover that. I know that sometimes also some banks notice vicious, weird things happening, they call you. So I know, of course, we'll hear some things about with that. I bank with a different bank, and they do actually call you immediately, even though it's not. I think one thing I wanted to share, some banks, I don't know how it works, but I just watched on TV a woman who all her savings were gone from Chase. Sorry to throw Chase out here, but I think they were told they have 30 days to notice a suspicious activity, and she did not realize in that period of time that there was a suspicion. Yeah, Marcus, you want to help?
So for personal, you have 60 days, right? You have 60 days to notice activity. For businesses, you have 30 days.
Oh, actually, I didn't know that. Yeah, so you guys make sure you check your banks quickly before, because I don't know, obviously, it's hard to stay 30 days without checking accounts, but it's very easy too when you don't have money, because you're thinking, what am I checking it for? But I think even the little money there can be taken. The 4,000 or 2 or 1 can be gone. I think I saw this woman, she lost all her retirement, over 80,000, and she went to the police, she went to sue the bank, nothing. She had 30 days to report, and I was literally, I think, crying for her, because I checked every day after that. I was like, oh.
Yeah, from my experience, if you will have any, like something fraud or something you don't know about it, and it appear in your karma or whatever, if you are not have karma, you have to call zero account. Yeah, that is easy for you. That is not charge you anything, and immediately they like figure out what to do for you and just like stop that charging, because some people they losing their credit or something, and someone is start buying some stuff from online or whatever. If you are the bank is not answer, you're supposed to call zero account.
Okay, thank you. Give me 1 second.
Oh, no
We wanna do the last group and then I'll circle back. So the one group here, I think they had a question about, what was the question?
We had
You noticed, yeah?
the credit card bill, but we had a minimum amount.
Oh, yes, they are supposed to pay the credit card bill and then they have a minimum amount. So go ahead.
So we would, we said that we would pay the minimum amount and then try and sell whatever assets that we have to make the fund.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Let's clap for ourselves. We did amazing. We just made the work easier or harder? I don't know.
Way easier.
Way easy. I mean, I did a whole lesson. Let's please put our hands together for our team members that are coming up here. Welcome, both ladies. And for those who came late, just do a quick intro again, and then of course you can find your answers here and the options and all that. So I'm going to be around, but please, if you have not signed in, kindly do check in. And at the end of this, before Anna and of course Michelle, they finish, we are going to do a picture so we can remember this day, and then we are going to do a survey. So don't sprint out, kindly. Thank you. Oh, sorry. And then could you let him ask the question? He had his hand up.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
I just wanted to add on like another thing for fraudulent card purchases. You do have some banks and some apps have the ability to lock your debit card, so like any new purchases that are tried to get on that card will not go through. So that gives you another option, so you can actually lock your debit card until you are ready to use it.
And another, may I?
Yeah.
Another part to that is most banks have, under you have notification, if you read through those notifications and turn them on, then it will notify you if there's a purchase. And I know some of them also have a limit or a maximum of how much you wanna be notified if you take it from your account.
Correct.
So it's good to turn on all those notifications.
Yes, it is.
Also, sorry guys, if you're, cause I know we're gonna focus a lot on the class. If you need something to eat here, I will serve you. Just put your hand up. I'll bring you fruit, some juice, some samosa. Just do like this, so that we help you without being interrupted. I mean, we are here for your service.
Did you have a question? You sure? Okay. So good afternoon, everybody. I'll go ahead and give a small introduction for those that just walked in. So my name is Anna Interiano. I'm a personal banker at Fifth Third Bank. I've been there for 2.5 years. My day-to-day basis is helping customers, help them with their financial needs, their goals, to get them to where they need to be.
Your voice, a little bit.
Oh, I need to speak up, I'm sorry. Did you wanna go ahead?
Just to piggyback off of Anna and to reintroduce myself, my name is Marshall Johnson. I'm a personal banker as well at Fifth Third Bank. I've been in banking for about 5 years, so I like to help my customers figure out what their needs, their wants are, and help them achieve their goals in any way that I can. So today we'll go over pretty much everything that you guys already know, just to reiterate or touch on some things. And just to show just a couple pieces that Fifth Third has to offer to help you guys out, and to continue on with your banking journey. So today, we're just gonna go over just a couple things that you need for a checking account. So we're gonna talk about proper documents, for a resident versus a non-resident alien. And then of course having a debit card and how it works, and then keeping proper balances. And then we're gonna talk about overdraft and then overdraft coverage. So, you can go over the document requirements first.
So every bank is different as far as the requirements for you to open up a checking and a savings. How many here already have a banking account started for themselves? Okay. It's the majority of everybody. Just to go ahead and just re-go over it, so if you are, new to banking and looking to open up a checking account, for standard identification, it would be, a photo ID, whether if that is going to be a Michigan ID or driver's license. If you do not have a government issued ID or driver's license, and you are just coming to the United States, they would need a social security number, so a US 10, a I-94. Are you guys familiar with an I-94 is? Yeah, okay. So I-94, and then if you have an I-94, you can also provide an employment authorization card. So those can be taken to open up a checking or a savings account. And then I know you guys stated a lot of you guys are trying to start business accounts. So those are needed as well if you are trying to open up a business account with a bank.
Oh, we do have handouts for everybody. If you just want to take them home, they're on the table over there. We didn't want to overwhelm you guys, so whichever piece you think is interesting, you can take with you if you like. So again, we're just gonna go over just the benefits of having a savings account. For your safety, you keep your money safe, secure, in the bank and protected. So Fifth Third Bank, or most banks here in America, they're insured by some type of insurance. For Fifth Third, we're FDIC insured, so it insures your funds up to $250,000 per account holder. So that means your money is safe just in case something crazy does happen, like the stock market crashing or something like that. So in the event of anything of like that happening, your money is safe, like Frida was saying. Do not keep it at home, under your bed or anything like that, because if something were to happen to it, you wouldn't be able to get your funds back. So, you know, we just try to keep everything safe for you guys. It's still liquid, so it still does have liquidity in a savings account. So that means you can still take it out whenever you want to. You can still build it up, and then when you're ready, you can take it out. We do have different forms of savings accounts, like a certificate of deposit that starts at $5,000 minimum, but you get to earn interest on it. So there's a couple perks with that one. And then it's for financial discipline. So when you're regular depositing money into something that you want to, move toward or your goal, like I was saying, you can honestly see, when the money moves up, you can see yourself getting closer to the goal, which is super exciting. And then of course we have goal setting. So savings accounts can help you be more financially responsible, like those two go hand in hand. And then of course with the insurance again, so it's keeping the money safe with the $250,000 being insured by the FDIC.
Just to touch on the savings account, there's many, like she said, there's different types of savings accounts out there. Ones where they're locked, where you can't touch the money for a couple months, and then ones where you can go in and out of the savings account. There is free savings account where you can gain interest on your funds. So if you have a large amount in the savings account, there could be a certain amount of interest that you could be gaining every month. So just when you're opening up your checking and your savings, know your benefits that come with the account.
So does anybody know, so for most people that already have a checking account, how many people are enrolled in overdraft coverage or overdraft solutions? Do you know what that is?
Yeah, so with overdraft protection, when you're enrolled, well, I know my bank, if I don't overdraft over a certain amount, then they don't charge me. If I have money in my savings account, they automatically pull it to my checking account to cover that overdraft without charging me a fee.
Yep, and that is overdraft protection. So there's two differences between overdraft protection and then overdraft coverage. So overdraft protection is the second account that you can set up if your first priority account becomes at a zero balance and it goes negative. They'll pull from the secondary account, so you do not receive an overdraft fee. And overdraft coverage is where a bank will allow you to overdraft your account with used funds that you do not have. Some banks have a grace period that allows you to pay back within a certain time frame without a fee. However, this video will explain a lot of it. This is for Fifth Third, so different banks have different requirements and fees amounts. I do just want to touch base on this just a little bit. Overdraft coverage, it can help you in situations where you don't have the money, but it also can hurt you in ways is if you're trying to build credit or you're trying to borrow later on. Some banks don't allow certain amount of overdrafts on the account, okay? So I just wanna make sure that you guys are mindful when watching this.
With money going in and out of your checking account, it's important to know how Fifth Third handles your transactions, especially when your balance is low. If you use your checking account to make a purchase, but don't have enough money in your account to cover it, this creates an overdraft. Your new Fifth Third account gives you built-in overdraft coverage for written checks and automatic bill payments, which means that, at the bank's discretion, Fifth Third may cover your transactions, even when you don't have enough funds. You're still responsible for the payment, and there's a $37 overdraft fee per transaction, but it helps you avoid return checks and late charges. When it comes to your debit card, you have options for how we handle those transactions. If you accept overdraft coverage on your card, at the bank's discretion, Fifth Third may allow the use of your card for purchases or ATM withdrawals, even if your account does not have enough funds to cover the transaction. A $37 overdraft fee per transaction applies, and you're responsible to cover your account's negative balance. If you decline coverage, your debit card will be declined at the register or ATM, but you won't have to pay any overdraft fees. For example, say you're buying groceries, but your account is short. If you've enrolled in overdraft coverage, you'll still be able to use your card, but will need to pay the overdraft fees. If you're not enrolled, your card will be declined and you'll have to find a different way to pay. It's up to you. Remember, you have built-in coverage on written checks and automatic bill payments. Now, simply choose how you'd like Fifth Third to handle your debit card transactions.
So that is for the overdraft coverage for the savings account that we have, well, for our bank of Fifth Third. So that's how it works. Most banks do work like that, however. You just have to read their policies and see, how they work differently. That is just a way for you guys to stay more protected, so you can avoid those fees, those unnecessary fees. I think me personally, from my personal experience, I find that it's the best practice to, maybe not do the overdraft coverage just because we're still in the learning phase of our financial banking. When we get more established, then I noticed that it may become something that you might need in the future. I'll put it on there. So now we're gonna talk about how credit, how many people have a credit card here? Ooh, that's impressive. Is it, can I ask, do you know if it's a secured card or just the regular credit card? Do you know the difference between the secured card? Regular. So we're just gonna go over, for those of you that don't know or that are still getting established. For those of you that don't know or they're still getting established, we'll just go over, what a credit score is, what the range of it is, and then some couple factors, and then the monitoring of it. So for the credit score, it's basically just a number. It tells you how good and how bad you are at borrowing money. And then there's different types of borrowing, but we'll get into that in the next slide. A credit score usually ranges from 300 to 850, 850 being the best, 300 being the lowest, and then there's factors in between. Most people in America, 850, far and few between. Nobody, you have to be doing really, really good for 850 credit score. Not to say that it's not impossible, it's definitely doable. You just have to work really hard for it. A lot of people usually range into the fair or the good factor of it, which is usually between 680 and between 780, 730, somewhere in between those factors. Your payment history, how much money you owe, in your credit history, new credit card and then used credit cards are all factors in how that score is arranged for you. it does impact your score on how long you've had a credit card and how you're using the credit card and paying it back. So that is super important. And then lenders use the credit card to see if they're gonna give you more money or not, or if they're gonna give you what you're asking for per se. So that's how lenders differentiate for the credit score. And then of course we do have, if you check your credit score regularly, you'll know where you are. So of course you don't want to be anywhere closer to the 300 range. You want to keep it kind of up there. So making sure that you're checking on it and, you know, staying up to date on it are good factors or good best practices. Thank you. And then we have, I highlighted the two most important types of credit that most people look at. So this is revolving credit and then installment credit. Do most people know the difference between the two? Okay, so revolving credit is more like for your credit card. So you're gonna use it, pay back, use it, pay back, use it, pay back. Installment credit is more like a student loan or maybe your mortgage. You're using it, pay it off or something. So those are the two most important types of credit that most people look at. It just shows like how well your credit history is, and then these are the two highest things that affect your credit score. Let me go to the next slide if you like. So we do have. How many people have actually checked their credit in the last, I would say 6 months to a year? 2 days ago? So it's quite a, I mean, it's a little bit, but you can, these are the credit reporting agencies that that report your credit score for you. Fifth Third uses Experian. I find that it's the best, the closest one, the most accurate one. And then most people usually tell in line for Credit Karma second. So it really depends on who you like the most. You can all request a credit report free, and they'll send you one within a year, or I'm sorry, within 30 days. So there is a way for you to check your credit. These are all credit reporting agencies. So if you put a Experian.com at the end of it, you'll be able to find the website and so on and so forth. And then, you want me to do this part? Oh, sure.
Okay, let's see. Okay. So I know majority of you guys already started building credit because you guys raised your hand for a credit card. Just to touch base on those that have not started building credit and are looking for ways to start building credit. We always recommend starting with a secured credit card. And that is where you would deposit a minimum amount depending on what bank you go through, or what credit card agency you go through. You would deposit a minimum amount into a savings account, then you lock that, and then transfer it to a credit card. We typically tell people to give it about 6 to 12 months to start getting revolving credit. I always highly recommend people don't just stay with one secured card. Try to do an secured loan or maybe multiple secured cards, just so you have that revolving credit on your actual credit report. When you check your credit report, there's a few factors that show on there. It's your payment history, your credit card usage, the total accounts that you have, any hard inquiries, and hard inquiries is when your credit is ring. And then, of course, if for any reason you don't make the payments on what you borrowed, derogatory marks can show as well. Let's see, you always want to make your payments on time. You'll receive a statement every month for whether if it's an installment loan or a credit card bill monthly. I always highly recommend people to use 30% of their credit card balance. You don't want to go over that. If you do, you can always just pay it back. So paying the minimum payment and you use more than 30% of your utilization, it could affect your credit. You can always set up auto pay and reminders as well with who you have your credit card through. So your payment, auto pay is where your payment comes out directly. So you don't have to worry about forgetting it, being a day late. Missing a day or any of that can affect your credit score as well. Let's see, cash advances. So most credit card agencies, they allow you to do a cash advance where you can take cash off of your credit card. Those aren't highly recommended. The interest that your credit card has is applied right away. So if your interest rate is 29.99%, it's gonna be applied to the amount that you borrow right away. After 6 to 12 months, an unsecured card is always an option. I always highly recommend that you check with the bank that you're trying to get an unsecured card or maybe an unsecured loan. Look at the requirements, know where your credit is at before you run an application. Because like I stated, those hard inquiries, they can hurt you from borrowing from somebody else. I think that's pretty much it on this one. This is about secured cards. So like I said, you would pay a security deposit. It's like a regular credit card. You can use it to make purchases, pay bills. Let's see. This basically to help you build or reestablish credit if you started off bad at first. Back here on the board, we have like a couple secured cards that you guys can look into. These are just a couple of agencies that do secured cards. Fifth Third is one. That is one of our, like where we work at, a lot of our customers, they're trying to rebuild or establish credit. So secured cards, they're really big there. Capital One, Credit One, they do secured cards as well, okay?
So here at Fifth Third, we do offer ways for fraud and identity protection, but just know it's not the only way you can check on your identity and your credit score, because those two go hand in hand, specifically enough. So just a couple ways to protect your identity from fraud is, limit sharing, avoid oversharing personal details, birthday, social security number, address over the phone and or online. So if you see something asking about, hey, I need your social security number so we can get this ordered, don't do it. They don't need it. Make sure you try to shred your documents or, cut up any type of old credit card that you may have had. Just because it is a way for, super smart people to get linked to the new one. So it does make your identity for a higher risk. Try to use strong passwords, and I really try to encourage my customers at work to do this as well, especially using their mobile banking. Just because when you go out into the world, most likely you're hooking up to Wi-Fi anywhere. Hackers can get into that, so try not to use passwords with like your name or your kids' names, or if you do, try to use short phrases. And then make sure you're using numbers and special symbols in it, just so it throws people off balance. Your banking is super important, but we also want to make it super convenient for you at the same time. So just try to make sure you're using strong passwords. And then try to avoid using a password manager. I know it is so easy to use, but maybe just for your banking app, just try to use something different. Try not to save it to your phone again. That's super sensitive information that's linked. You just don't want it floating out in the cloud or anywhere like that. Of course, secure your devices and accounts. If you have kids, don't put your banking app on the iPad or anything like that. They could probably get into it and spend some money. And then try to enable two-factor authentication. So that means if you have like an Apple product or anything, use your Face ID and then, just your passcode. And then I've seen this also happen a lot. If you guys have Apple products or Samsung products, try to keep them updated. The app, like the mobile banking app for Fifth Third, will kick you out. And so what happens is a lot of people can't remember like their password or anything like that because they haven't updated their phone. So try to make sure you keep your software up to date. 9 times out of 10 we can figure it out for you if you are needing help, but other times we'll have to tell you like you gotta finish it at home on the Wi-Fi. So just try to make sure you're keeping it up to date and things like that. The antivirus software, I would recommend that for computers, so desktops. You know, your phone usually doesn't hold that much. And then make sure you're looking at your accounts like every day. It's really easy just to like miss something. And then you want to be aware of phishing scams, and then verifying caller identity. So if you don't know who's calling or asking for any type of information, just hang up the phone. And then never give out personal info, which I'm pretty sure is just like it's self-explanatory. And then always use secure methods of payment. So you can use your debit card to make payments online. I would suggest using your credit card just because that isn't associated with necessarily your bank account. It's the bank's money if that money gets, hacked or anything. So the bank will always find their money. Your money from your personal account is a little bit harder, but we do our due diligence and try our best. But try to use your credit cards when you're shopping on Amazon, especially like TikTok Shop or Shein. I've seen a lot of fraud happen on those sites just from using your debit card. So try to use your credit card and get the extra points. And then just freeze and lock your credit if necessary. So if somebody does have your information, or if you're really not happy with your credit score at the moment, you can go back to the Experian website, Equifax, TransUnion. You can actually freeze your credit, and it'll be for about 1 year, I do believe. So that'll give you a chance to clean some things up if you like, and or pay some things off. So, and that's pretty much all the.
When you say freeze your credit, you freeze your credit card, freeze your credit score, does that mean if anybody try to pull your credit score, they can?
Right, so that means if anybody tries to pull your credit score for a house, for a credit card, for anything, they can't do it. You have to go and unlock it yourself, and it usually takes 24 hours for them to be able to the next time.
Oh, that's good.
You go to the websites like TransUnion, Equifax, or and then you'll be able to request it. There's also phone numbers all associated with the website, so you'll just give them like your social security number, and then they should be able to do that for you as well. And then this is the first.
Fifth Third. Okay. So Fifth Third, we offer identity alert. It is to protect your accounts, your credit, social security. It alerts you if anybody uses any of your personal information. You're able to log in to see your credit score. It is the most accurate credit score, because like she stated before, some websites that you check your credit on, they may show you what your credit score is, but it's not the exact credit score. It's always either a few points on or off, or it could be like 30 points on or off. It also just makes sure that you're aware, like if somebody was to use your social security numbers to open up anything, it red flags it, makes you aware. So Fifth Third, we offer that to our customers. For the first 30 days, it's free. After that, it's $7.99 thereafter. So that's just one of the products that you can use to try to protect yourself, your identity, and just to make sure that you're safe and secure at all times.
Business accounts, is
Yes.
that something that you could possibly answer, or is this?
Yeah, what questions do you have?
So, the question is, for having a business checking account, the monthly fee for that, usually a bank will have a monthly fee to have a business account
We
open
do.
down.
We do. I do believe if it's $15,000 or less in the deposits, there's no minimum monthly fee. And then there are 2 other fees when you tier up after that. I can't tell you the fee right offhand. I'm sorry, I don't have the
So
solutions.
15,000 and less.
It depends on the checking account that you open.
Yeah.
So Fifth Third, we offer a business check, like a standard business checking account, and there may be a $3 service charge. It just honestly just all depends on what tier that you're at. They can range, with the business accounts, they also, like the fees, they come into place with how many withdrawals, how many deposits are made. So depending on like the information that you provide to like a banker or a bank, they'll make sure that, you know, you always wanna make sure you ask the questions, like you make how many deposits a month, how many wires, how many checks you're written, so they can kinda give you that idea of if there's a fee applied after a certain amount. Cause there is free checking accounts out there for the business.
That's good to know.
Yeah, we always
Yeah.
try to make the best recommendation, so we never really say like, oh, this one will work for you right off bat, just because we do ask the questions first before we set the tone for
And
you
Fifth
guys.
Third, how big is your, network radius for your?
Well, we're based out of Cincinnati, Ohio, so that's where the corporate office is, and then we spread all the way from, I think we're coming all the way from over here to the West Michigan out to the East Coast in some parts, so. I know they're branching out a little bit further, but, it's a pretty big Midwestern bank. Oh, and they're down in Tampa, down in Florida as well, so we, from here all the way down in Florida.
I should probably talk to you then, because.
We're in 11 states.
Yeah.
Okay.
And expanding. We're the 15th largest bank in the country.
Okay, 'cause yeah, right now I have a business account with Chase, because I was doing festivals and creating larger events, but now, since COVID, that affected me, so I've cut back on everything to restart again, but I'm thinking that, you know, Fifth Third might be good for business account, because the reason I did Chase was because I was, doing talent buys out of Nashville and LA for large music artists, and, you know, that required a lot of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars to put deposits down, and also payment systems for the music artists, but now, since I'm not really doing that anymore, I don't see the need to have that, account with Chase. And the other reason I use Chase was because in those industries, music industry, a lot of people use Chase because it's a universal bank, you know. So yeah, I should
I will
probably
say we
talk
play
to
well
you.
with other banks, so
Yeah.
anything that you may need help with, we can help you figure out. Yes, Steve?
I have a question. So if someone wants to get like a loan specific for like a business and stuff, like if you guys do like overseas, if I decided to buy like a property overseas, can you guys, how, I'm trying to just figure it out.
Is it for your business?
Yeah, it's
or-
gonna be like my business, like maybe have like a piece of property, like maybe, let me say like in Uganda, and I decided maybe to get a loan, cause I know the interest rate here is, it's gonna more likely to be lower than in Uganda, I think it's like 27%, right? So like, I'm trying to figure it out, can you guys still loan if I have like, let's say like maybe a piece of paper, the land approval, all that, and then bring it to the bank, and then if you guys can either loan me through that.
I'm not necessarily sure if we aid on loans on foreign properties, but we can always look into it. I'll give you my business card, and then we can converse about it via email if that's okay.
And just to touch base, so with Fifth Third, so if you have a business account with us, there's always options for business lines of credit. Those go based off your credit score as well as your revenue for the business. So let me just say, your revenue is high, you may qualify for a larger line of credit, and that could also benefit you with doing something out the country without, you know. So those are always options.
Yes, like Anna said, that's just not Fifth Third, that's most US banks. You're not gonna be able to purchase land, overseas. That's just a banking thing here. But like Anna said, you always have the option to, get a line of credit should you and your business qualify. And you can make purchases across cities, conduct business that way.
Question. How do you fix your credit? If
How do you
have-
fix your credit?
Yeah, if your score is get down,
Down.
how you build back?
So what I highly recommend is to get an accurate credit report. So for you to be able to see your actual credit score, see everything that is on your credit as far as credit card utilization, any collections, derogatory amounts, any amounts that are outstanding. And then I would highly recommend making payments to those. There's always options when we say you have a collection bill. There's always options to set up payment arrangement for those. as well as if you can't pay the full balance, it may be high. There's always hardship programs. After you start paying things down on your credit, you can always start fresh with a secured credit card.
Is that limited time? Can we build it or
To
take
rebuild
time?
it, I mean, it honestly all depends, cause some people's credit, they may have a lot of collection bills, or they may have a lot of, high balances on their credit cards, so it just all depends on how fast you're able to pay what you owe or to clean up your credit. I would the secured credit card, I would always, those typically 6 to 12 months to start showing, as long as you're making your minimum payments, paying off the balance, using 30% of your credit.
Thank you.
Yes?
So currently with my credit card, I asked for like a promotion where they did 0% for the interest rate. And so they gave that to me, but then I still was noticing that I was getting charged monthly for like previous purchases before I had the promotion applied. And like, it's like hundreds of dollars for like the interest rate charges, just interest rate charges. Is there anything like I can do about that, do you think?
So you had a credit card and then you asked for 0% interest on the credit card after the credit card was already had like a set interest?
Yes.
Okay. What credit company is that with? Discover. Okay, go ahead, Marcus.
So, like you said, because you have already made purchases on that card, you have to pay off those purchases first.
Right.
Anything after that, then it's gonna be that 0%.
Okay, so there's no like tips or hacks where I can be like,
No, cause that was at a higher interest rate, so you're gonna have to pay that off first.
To touch base on that though, just a high recommendation, you can do a balance transfer. So let me say those balances you want to transfer to a card that has 0% interest. Most banks or most credit card agencies have that opportunity. For example, Fifth Third, we have a 0% interest credit card for 15 months. We do balance transfers. So if you have $6,000 from Discover that you want to transfer to Fifth Third, you would have 15 months with the 0% interest to pay that back. So anytime that you have like a high interest rate and it's too much interest to catch up on or too much, you can always look at places that do balance transfers with that 0% interest to give you a time frame. Any other questions? Yeah.
I just learned something 2 days ago. The bank that I didn't know that you can have a beneficiary on your account.
Yes.
So I don't know if a lot of people know how beneficial that, especially the African community. Freedom touches a little bit about when somebody passed away, there's no money, things like that. Can you just explain the importance of having a beneficiary on your account? If something happened to you, your family can get your money from the bank without you fee.
It don't matter. So there's two ways. There's multiple ways you can go about having your family gain your money if you do pass away. Beneficiary is one way, and then
It's the easiest too.
yeah, it's the easiest. Or there's a standard way called POD, which is payable of death, that you can ask your bank when you go in there. You can make your children, your mother, your dad, whoever you want, payable of death. You would just need their name and their social security number. They're added to the account. They don't have no access to your account while you are here. They don't know balances. They don't get statements. But if something was to happen to you, they are able to come to the bank and get your money because they're on your account as a beneficiary or payable of death.
I will say for some people, even after, if you want to keep your parents' money at the bank or anything, or say that they're still getting checks or anything like that, there are ways that you can do that banking even after someone has passed. So we do estate accounts, in very few and far between cases. We'll do, trust accounts. We work with people who need help with that. But the estate account and then the payable on death are the two most common ways that we help people out. So it is super important to set up a beneficiary just because it is the easiest way. So if you do set up a beneficiary, it is the easiest way because that person, the bank will be able to give the funds to. Yes.
I don't know if someone asked this question before because I'm not here for a while. So if I have a credit and my credit score is like 7 something, and I have another account in different bank, and they offer for me credit. If I open that credit, new credit, does it lower my score or not?
It will, your score will take an initial hit, so it's called a hard inquiry. It does drop your credit maybe about 30-40 points when you do a hard inquiry for a credit card. But after a couple months, maybe in the first 90 days, when you get the initial statement and everything like that, it does help your credit. You should see your credit score start going up, tremendously when you have more than one piece of revolving credit. So like 2 credit cards or, more than 2 credit cards. Yeah.
Another question. If you have, your credit score like almost 8, and did it, and you are applying for mortgage, is that like, what's the benefit I have from this age?
So, most banks here at Fifth Third, we have a mortgage lending officer. Firstly, you will talk with the banker and you will let us know, hey, what are you looking for? What's your budget? And so on and so forth. And then we will connect you with our mortgage lending officer. We have one at our branch. It comes in every other Thursday. So they're real. You will come in and set a meeting with them. And then if your credit score is at an 800, which is absolutely great, our mortgage lending officer will show you what are the best recommendations for a home buying process for you, and or what's the best area, or how can they help you with closing costs. So there's multiple factors. I'm assuming the better your credit score, the more the mortgage lending officer will be able to help you get.
So I can speak from personal experience, the higher your credit score, the better interest rate that you'll get.
Oh,
So,
yes.
And then your down payment as well.
And you're down, yes, so.
Yes.
When I got my mortgage, I was at a 789. So I got the best interest rate that I could get at that time, which is still high. There, but it was the best interest rate that you can get. So it's really important that you try to raise your credit score because it helps you save money in the long run.
Yeah. Thank you.
What should the credit utilization look like for the credit card utilization?
So you want to keep it under 30% credit utilization. That's for most credit cards. So if you have like a $500 credit card, you want to keep the balance around like 150. And then also you want to make sure that you're making the minimum payment and or the whole statement balance, just to make sure that you're not paying the extra money on the interest. For most credit cards right now, the interest rate is starting at like 24 and going through 29% if you're looking at like most credit cards across the board. So you want to make sure that you're keeping the statement, the utilization now, and then making sure that you're paying the minimum and or the statement balance off to keep from paying the interest on it.
Yes. I was gonna ask, when you said about transferring your credit card, that apply to car payments, like for the 18-month non-interest?
You can always so let me say your auto loan, you maybe receive 0% interest. If the interest that starts coming after that 0% interest, and you don't like the interest rate, you can always shop around and refinance to get a better interest rate. Just to wrap things up, I just wanted to touch base just on a couple things. As far as those that are looking to purchase a home in the near future, a 600 credit score is minimum for Fifth Third. I'm not concerned about other lenders. But like Marcus said, you always want the best rate, the best down payment. So the higher your credit score, the lower your down payment would be, the lower the interest you receive. And then, yeah, and depending on the area that you're moving, there might be grants for appraisals, closing fees, and costs. And then I know April 5th, you guys are doing a business class. Just to touch base on business, for those that are walking into their business and have not started their business, whether if you're gonna be a sole proprietor or a LLC, You would need, to create yourself an LLC and an EIN number before starting a business account at a bank, okay?
And you can do that at the state of Michigan website or Laura.
Wow. Let's clap for this wonderful people. Better. Thank you. So because they did amazing work, they need to know how they did.